Welcome to UNE News on YouTube. I'm Janie McCarter. Stay with you. Democratic National Convention, Clinton, Sanders camps in talks about giving Senator larger role tonight. This news created by Mr. Dennis Silva.
Hillary Clinton's campaign is in talks with Bernie Sanders about giving the Vermont senator a larger role at the Democratic National Convention Tuesday night in a bid to heal rifts in the party, as her team seeks to reintroduce her to voters still deeply skeptical of her candidacy. According to Sanders spokesman Michael Briggs, the two campaigns are discussing having the Vermont delegation move to make Clinton's nomination unanimous by acclamation after all the states have had a chance to have their votes recorded. "We've been talking about that with the Clinton campaign for weeks," Briggs said. "We hope it works out." Briggs said the outcome could be similar to the party unification move at the 2008 convention, but that Sanders wants all of his delegates to have a chance to be heard before it happens. In 2008, at a similar moment of stress between rival Democratic camps, Clinton came to the convention floor, interrupted the roll call vote, and moved to unanimously nominate Barack Obama as the Democratic presidential candidate. Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, deflected questions about a possible deal. "I will let Senator Sanders discuss what Senator Sanders is going to do," he said at a reporter lunch hosted by the Wall Street Journal. Pressed about whether conversations are ongoing, Podesta insisted that the vote would speak for itself. "I'm not going to preview this," he said. "Wait for the vote." By the end of Tuesday, Clinton is poised to make history as the first woman to be nominated for president by a major party. But Democrats also want to first reverse sustained negative perceptions of her, and on Tuesday will rely on people that the Clinton campaign says have been touched by her decades of work as a lawyer, First Lady, senator and the nation's top diplomat to make the case. Podesta said earlier Tuesday that Democrats need to move on from infighting over the outcome of the primary, which saw Clinton soundly defeat challenger Senator Bernie Sanders in both votes and delegates. The comments came after a chaotic day marred by intra-party squabbling on the floor of the Democratic Convention and in backroom negotiations between the Clinton campaign and outgoing Democratic National Committee Chairman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The first session of the convention was repeatedly marred by the shouts and boos of Sanders supporters, who repeatedly interrupted speakers in the hall. On Tuesday morning, Podesta insisted, "We've got to get over it." The Clinton campaign appreciates Sanders's endorsement and his decades of work on liberal causes, but we need to move on and consolidate around Hillary, he said on CBS this morning. "And I think the people watching television last night, not just the people in the hall but the people watching television, what did they see? They saw that full-throated endorsement by Bernie." Sanders doubled down on his support for Clinton Tuesday morning. Speaking at a breakfast meeting of the California delegation, he dismissed the boos of supporters and urged them to back her. "It is easy to boo, but it is harder to look your kids in the face if Trump becomes president because Democrats didn't support the ticket," he said. But at a morning breakfast hosted by Bloomberg Politics, Sanders expressed befuddlement at the idea that he would release his delegates before the roll call. "Why would I do that?" Sanders asked. "There's an election. We are gonna lose, but if you were campaigning for me for 6 months or 8 months and knocking your brains out, and the roll call came, who do you think you'd vote for? You'd vote for Bernie Sanders." That's what I would do. And then, the other side gets more votes. With the healing process among Democrats still underway, Clinton's campaign manager Robbie Mook said that Tuesday night's programming is designed to remind Americans about the former Secretary of State's long public service career. A lot of people aren't familiar with her accomplishments, Mook told ABC's Good Morning America, noting that former President Bill Clinton will give the night's big speech. The former president is poised to address a Democratic convention as a political spouse for the first time. Clinton, who could soon become the country's first man, has been a Democratic convention staple for more than 40 years. His 1988 keynote address was widely panned as a meandering, boring speech, but his 1992 nomination acceptance speech buoyed his struggling campaign. In more recent years, the former president has served as a political character witness, most notably for Obama at his 2012 convention. Hillary Clinton will not travel to Philadelphia to watch Bill Clinton's address to the convention, but will instead watch the speech from her home in Chappaqua, New York, aide said. The candidate and her daughter, Chelsea, are scheduled to address the convention on Thursday. While the former president headlines the evening, the convention is also set to hear from several others of the victims of gun violence or police-involved incidents, including Gwen Carr, the mother of Eric Garner, who died after being put in a chokehold by a New York City police officer in 2014, Sabrina Fulton, the mother of Trayvon Martin, who was fatally shot by a neighborhood watch volunteer in Sanford, Florida in 2012, and Leslie McSpadden, the mother of Michael Brown, who was killed by a police officer in Ferguson, Mo. in 2014. Gun control has become a leading issue of concern for Clinton, but speakers are also set to remind Democrats of her work on health care reform as First Lady and a Senator and Foreign Affairs as Secretary of State. Meanwhile, Senator Timothy M. Kaine, D. Virginia, Clinton's freshly minted running mate, planned to travel to Philadelphia on Tuesday ahead of his scheduled acceptance speech on Wednesday night. Wasserman Schultz also remained in Philadelphia, showing up Tuesday morning at a brunch hosted by lobbyist Heather Podesta and packed with lawmakers and top Democratic players. She attended at least 2 other events honoring LGBTQ Democrats and a reception hosted by Donna Brazile, her interim successor. At the Podesta event, Wasserman Schultz declined to be interviewed about the drama surrounding her, but stated unequivocally she was remaining in Philadelphia all week. Abby Phillip, Lois Romano and Vanessa Williams contributed to this story.